Hi, I'm Paul Seal from codechair.co.uk. Welcome to the fifth and last episode of this mini-series about creating a property editor package for Umbraco V8. In this episode, we're going to create the NuGet package for it. So in the last episode, we put it onto our Umbraco. So we created a package which goes over here. Like this. So we created it on here so it can be listed in the packages repository. But also what you will want to do usually for an Umbraco package is to have it to be able to be installed by NuGet. So we're going to create it as a NuGet package now. So let's get started then. So what we need to do first of all is create a new Spec file. And if we go into the GitHub project for the Giphy property editor, so this is where you land on when you first get to this. So github.com prjseal Giphy property editor. We go into the Giphy property editor folder, and then there is a new Spec file. So we may as well use this as an example. Click on that, and then we can copy the contents of this. So I'm just going to copy this. You can click raw and copy it that way. Sometimes that's easier. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go into the project. So in the class library, right click on it and go to open folder in File Explorer. So now in here I want to just do a new text file, and I'll call it the same name as the project, so the same name as what is up here. So my property editor.newspec. I'm going to delete .txt off the end. Are you sure you want to change it? Yes. And then I want to edit that with Notepad, and I'll change my language to XML. I'm going to paste the contents of that in. So the first thing we need to do is set the ID, and before we do set the ID, we need to know if this is a reserved name in NuGet. So if we go to NuGet and we look for my property editor, there are no packages returned for that name. So in theory, we could create this with that ID. So let's do that then. My property editor. And the version number is going to be 1.00. Title, so I'm just going to call it my property editor. Authors, Paul Seal. Owners, Paul Seal. License type, expression. Right, okay, so this is a new element. You used to do license URL. Now they want this block, so MIT. And then the project URL, so that's the GitHub repository. So if we go to my property editor, so that is here. So I want to paste that in there. The icon URL, well, we did borrow the icon from the other Giphy property editor when we did the package for Umbraco package repository. So we'll just use that one for now, but it's essentially it's the same as what I told you on the last video. Is you go into the package repo. Let's go into there, and then I had an images folder at the root level, and then I had logo.jpg, and then I put $raw equals true, and that gives you the raw image. So that's what you can do on that. So we'll leave that as it is there, borrowing from that one. Require license acceptance, false. I don't need to require license acceptance. Description, and then just put, yeah, it can be the same as that. And then release notes, so we'll just say first release. Let's use search for Giphy GIFs from within the Umbraco back office. Looks like a media picker, something like that. You can put whatever you want. Copyright, that will come from the DLL, but let's just do copyright 2019. I don't have a DLL on this one. Tags, Umbraco, property editor, media, Giphy, GIF, search. Yeah. So then, this part here is the files that you want to include. So, the files that we want to include are in the app plugins my property editor folder, not property editor, not Giphy. Again, so what we want to do is we want to copy everything from within there, and we want to put it into a target folder called content, and then app plugins my property editor. So if we look at the repo, we've got my property editor, app plugins my property editor. So it's basically saying everything in there. That's what this is saying, and put it into a folder called content inside the NuGet package. Then we also want to include, because I did on this package, when I took it a bit further, I did a grid editor as well. I'll just delete that line because that doesn't apply. And then we have a readme.text. So when I was at the Code Garden this year, I met Richard Soterman, and I asked him, because I knew he'd be able to tell me how. I asked him to show me how, whenever you install one of his NuGet packages, it pops up with the Readme text file at the end, and this is how you do it. So inside at the project level, actually I think it's at the, let's just have a look. We'll see where it is on the website. So on the, if we go back on here in GitHub and we go to Giphy property editor, we'll just have a look. Is the readme.text there? No. Is the readme.text here? Yeah, so it's at the same level as this. So what we can do is we can add new text file, new item, and we can make it a text file and call it readme.text. And then we can just say thank you. You can put whatever you want on this, for installing my text property editor. And actually what I've done on my Giphy one is, let's have a look at it. Let's just go into it. Test readme, yeah. I did another package recently, auto translate I think it's called, and I put a bit more on there. Yeah, readme text. There we go. So if we get the raw of that, let's just copy that. And this here, this ASCII art, you can get this by just ASCII art generator and then text to ASCII art. So you could type my property editor, and you just go through the different fonts. So if you pick one, so I mean some of them are awful, but you might find one that you like. I'm not going to spend too long on it. I'm just going to get one that's quite short but you can read. So the first one that's quite short that you can read, that will do. I'm going to then copy that, select and copy, and then I'll paste that into here. My property editor, there we are. That's my readme.text. So this is what's going to get shown when it gets installed. Save that. This isn't relevant actually. So thank you for installing my property editor, and then you write something in there. And then this is what I'm just going to put on the bottom of my package as a little coffee mug. Yeah, so if you like this, you could go to that anyway. So this is it. This is the README that's going to get shown when it gets installed, which I think is pretty cool. Thanks for showing me that, Richard. Save that and then close that. So now when we are editing this new spec file, it is right to leave this readme.text in there because we do want that to be included in that package. And the target, notice that is blank, and that's how it just gets shown at the end. So we've got our new spec file set up. It should all be correct, but in order to build the package, what we need to do is two things. Well, one of two things. So you could either build it locally within Visual Studio, or you could get it to be built with a service like AppVeyor. For simplicity, I'm just going to do it locally, so I'll show you how to do this. So if we go to Tools, NuGet Package Manager, Manage Packages, and then let's just have a search for, not on installed, we want to go on Browse, and then we'll look for NuGet Build. So we want to install NuGet Build on the My Property Editor package. Project, sorry. So it's installing that for us. Just click on OK. I accept. So I think, has it done it? Initializing PowerShell again. It's done. So that has installed the build tools for us. So that allows us now to do something like this. So if we go NuGet Pack, and then we say in the My Property Editor folder, and then My Property Editor dot, it'll either be .NuSpec or .csproj. Let's give it a go with csproj. And now look what it says, successfully created a package, My Property Editor. Right, so that is in this solution folder. So if I go back to here, go up a level, and it's created a NuGet package. So another tip for you, a NuGet package is basically a zip folder. So you can rename this, and this is how you look inside a NuGet package. So you can do this with any NuGet package that you've got on your machine that you've downloaded from other ones. And then if you then extract all, or just double click and go into, but we can then see what has been included. So we've got our Readme, so that works, that's in there. We've got our content, App Plugins, My Property Editor, yeah, and we've also got the lib folder. So it has created a My Property Editor DLL. Not that I think there's any point, because it's not actually doing anything. But I'm not worried about that. I think it's because I ran it on the .csproj rather than .NuSpec, but it's alright. So that's it. That's all the files that we need. Now the only thing is, if we have a look at this .NuSpec here, we'll see that it's got a dependency on NuGet build. And that's the only dependency. So I don't think we want that dependency. So what you can do is you can go into packages config, and you can just put development dependency on the end of that, and then save that. And that's the same with any of these on here. So if this package doesn't need to be dependent on that, then that is how you stop that development dependency. So let's go back into the folder. Let's delete this. So this was the NuGet package, if you remember, and delete that folder that we extracted it to. And then if we can just run that again. So you just press the up arrow in the Package Manager console, NuGet pack, run it again. And then we should find that when we look at it this time, so I'm just going to rename it to be .zip. Yeah, and then double click just to have a look. And I'm interested to see what the dependencies are, and there are no dependencies. So this is the NuSpec file. So everything's been wrapped up into here. So it looks like we're good to go. So now it's time to get this registered on the NuGet package place. So let me sign into that. So I'm just signing in on my other screen. So we're just going to delete that and run the command again, just so that I just don't want to mess up the generating of that NuGet package file. Right, so that's there, and I'm I'm on the NuGet website. So you create yourself an account on NuGet, and then on your account you click upload package on the name up there from the navigation. So upload package. So then if you want to upload a package, you click on browse, you go to downloads. Oh, actually I just need to navigate to the actual folder. So it was in my code repository GitHub, and then I need to find it. So that's it. So it's in my property editor, and there it is. So code, GitHub, my property editor, and I choose the file .nupkg. Click on that, and it will read this, and it will show you what it's going to be like. So is this correct? And you just say yeah, and preview that. There is no markdown documentation to preview, so that preview was just for the markdown. So you can put some markdown in here if you wanted to. One thing I sometimes do, but it quite annoys me every time that you update your package, you have to re-update that, so I don't bother anymore. But what you could do is you could, in the readme file here, you've got some markdown, so you could copy that markdown and you could put that into your where's it gone? Into here, and then you could click preview, and then that's what it would look like. So that's what that's doing there. It wants some markdown. So let's click on submit. So it says it's not been published yet. I have submitted it, and that is it. This package is now on NuGet. It will take about 15 minutes from you adding it on here to it getting indexed and published properly. So you just have to sit tight. But one thing to do is just make sure you've got a clean install of the version of Umbraco that you're targeting, and just try it out. Install it on there. And I was going to say obviously then, but I shouldn't say obviously. But what we do in all of my videos, when you want to install a package, let me, for instance, show you the one that does exist. So NuGet Package Manager, Manage Packages. So you can find it in different ways. So if we go into Giphy Property, so Giphy Property Editor by Paul Seal. So this is where you can find the ones that I've created. So it's been downloaded 577 times. That's quite good. So you could install it this way, or you could do it through the command line. And the way you do it through the command line is install package Giphy Property Editor, and then press enter. Well, or you specify the version, like with this one, we do version 1.0.6. So that is how you create your NuGet package and how you get it published on NuGet, and how you search for it in Visual Studio, or how you install it using the command line. So don't forget to check everything in on your source control as well, to make sure you keep everything. Usually what I do when I've got changes on the source control to check in, I usually just ignore the NuGet packages at the root level, because I don't want to keep that. So I do ignore this, and then I go into my git ignore, and then I'll just do slash and then star dot, and then it won't ever keep asking me to check in those files at that level. Created packages, that was from when I previously created the Umbraco package. So I do check them in actually, because it's handy if I swap computers over and I want to edit that Umbraco package. So I do check those in, and then so I'm just going to check this in and say created NuGet new spec file for NuGet package, and commit all. So that is it, that's all synced. So if you were following on from this video, obviously it's after I've done it, because I can't do the video before I've done it. So that's published on GitHub now, so you can actually cheat and just get the new spec file. I will take it off on here because I don't want it to compete with the actual package, for one reason, and the other reason is that it doesn't make sense to have it on there twice. If you do follow along with this video, please don't, let's all not keep releasing the same package over and over. Maybe just use it, just do what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to do manage packages, and then I just want to do unlisted packages, and then I'm just going to delete this one. Save that. So I'm just going to unlist it because there's no point it being there. It was just for demo purposes. So thanks for watching. I hope you like this series. I've enjoyed making it, and I hope that it might inspire people to create more packages for Umbraco, and show you how you can do it. Not necessarily easy for everyone, but if you follow along with these steps, you can get to what I've done on this video, but then apply your idea to that and go in a different direction. And it'd be great if you left in the comments maybe a link to your package on NuGet or our Umbraco that you've done that was inspired by watching this video. That would be amazing if anybody did that. I'd really like that. I know Matt Barlow, he did that with one of his property editors, and that was good to see. Yeah, so thanks a lot. Please click on like, subscribe to my channel, share, all of that lot, and I will see you on my next video. Thank you. Bye.